Hey everyone, this is Teresa Hegel, Executive Editor of Special Projects and Sustainability at ASI.
And this is Cassie Green, Content Director of Apparelist and Editor at Printing United Alliance. And you're listening to Branding Together, a new adventure into the converging worlds of print and promo.
We're here to bring you an engaging monthly discussion that dissects just how closely each of these industries align. Whether you're a promotional products distributor, commercial printer, apparel decorator, or a little bit of everything, our topics and guests will bring the ultimate crossover conversation.
When you're ready to bring your business to the next level, get lost in this month's episode, which is set to happen in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Branding Together. It's the month of February. It's cold. It's snowy where I am, but we're here to give you some very exciting tips, advice. We have a great conversation lined up with Christy and Brian Floriani of BUKU Branded, a promotional products distributor that devotes 100% of its net profits to advancing literacy in America. I can't wait to talk to them. But first, Cassie, let's start with some headlines.
Yeah, let's do it. And for the record, maybe it's cold where you are. It was 70 degrees here in Colorado yesterday.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about that.
No, I'm like disappointed by it.
Oh, okay. You can come over here. Come to Pennsylvania where there's still snow on the ground.
Sounds good. Anyway, why we're here. Yes, industry headlines. So my first one, this is kind of big news. Brother Industries announces plans to acquire Muto. Obviously, with all the big M&A activity we've had in the industry, this is just like another piece of that cake, right? And so Brother announced on February 4th that it will launch an acquisition initiative for all outstanding shares of Muto Holdings Company Limited. The deal excludes treasury shares with the aim of converting Muto in a wholly owned subsidiary. Brother has, issued statements saying this should boost their wide format printing side of things. Brother does operate in the apparel decorating side of things pretty heavily. They've got the DTG machines, got embroidery machines, all that stuff. So this is just another way for them to sort of push into a different vertical of the printing industry. Right. For anyone listening to this, I believe maybe it was 2 years ago now, if I'm double check me on that date. Brother did make an offer for Roland DG, and that never came to fruition. Likely for the same scenario, right? To try and move into the wide format printing space. But now making plans to acquire Muto, it's definitely a developing story. Check back in. But yeah, big headline.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think we've alluded to this in other episodes, but it just seems like M&A is going to continue to be huge. So we're always kind of on the lookout for what the next big deal is going to be. So that's pretty interesting.
Yep.
So my first piece of news is actually a joint ASI PPAI study that found that promo is among the lowest carbon impact advertising channels, which is really, exciting. It's interesting because ASI and PPAI, we are competitors, but for this project, we collaborated, which I think is so important when it comes to sustainability, because the only way you're going to make any kind of progress is if the industry as a whole comes together. You have to kind of look beyond competition and cooperate on this kind of stuff to make an impact. So we're sort of modeling that for the whole industry, which I love. Essentially, this was a third-party study that was commissioned by ASI, PPAI, and some European promo partners. We found that, the third party found that promo's carbon footprint is actually 8 times smaller than digital, which, some people would be like, how could that possibly be? But a lot of it is about, first of all, that promo is something that is kept for a long time, so it has great brand recall. Mm-hmm. Digital is so fleeting. People don't necessarily remember those ads. There's that hidden kind of carbon cost with, the electricity involved in, looking at it on your screens, maybe the AI that's used to create these ads, that has a huge cost. And just that there's just not that recall. Like, do you remember that 15-second thing you saw on TikTok? Probably not. So it's a really interesting study. It's still very preliminary. We're not saying this is the end all and be all of sustainability. it's more like this is kind of like the opening call. We want more people in the industry to start like examining their data and looking at life cycles and kind of adding to this story so that we can really kind of prove that promo is good, but also improve promo so that it's even better from a sustainability standpoint and a carbon, impact.
Ooh, I love this headline so much for so many reasons. But yes, the carbon impact, obviously, you and I are going to be excited about that
Oh
topic,
yeah.
right?
Oh
And
yeah.
I do think it's interesting how you mentioned the assumption that it's not as sustainable as something digital, right? But you have to remember all of these digital things do require a significant amount of energy and water usage to power.
Right.
So there's all
Absolutely.
these factors. So very, very cool headline. Second one I have for everybody is Printing United Alliance's 2026 Pinnacle Awards are now open for submission. And so they're open now through April 10th. Plenty of time, but I would say don't procrastinate, right? Let's get your submissions in, people. For anyone not familiar with Pinnacle Awards, it recognizes products that are driving the future of the printing industry with exceptional contributions in things like quality, capability, productivity. So we're looking at like automation. What are some innovations in inks and things like that? It is a competition that is created for manufacturers, OEMs, suppliers. There are three main categories I want everybody to be aware of. One, output devices, two, non-output devices, and three, technology. So, of course, in the show notes, Teresa and I will provide links and more information where you can find, if you are a company that would like to submit to Pinnacle Awards, make sure we provide plenty of information. But wanted to make sure everybody was aware that those are now open for submission.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's so important to submit your work, whether it's writing work or technology for these awards programs, just because it makes you feel good if you win, but it's kind of the proof that what you're doing is important and is
Totally.
kind of making an impact. So definitely get your submissions in for that.
Yeah.
I have one other piece of news to share. I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to one of ASI's other podcasts, Promo Insiders. We recently had an episode called What's the Latest with Tariffs? I hate talking about tariffs, so luckily I don't have to. This was two of my colleagues, Sarah Lewandowski and Tara Lerman. They recently had this podcast where they talked about the current situation with the tariffs and how trade relations with the U.S. have shifted in recent months. It's a really thorough look at everything that's going on. It's really hard to kind of keep track of what's going on with tariffs. It's always changing. But Tara Lerman, our news editor, she really is on the ball. She knows what's going on. So if you want a kind of quick overview of what's happening, I think that episode is definitely worth a watch or listen.
Yeah. And just because we don't like talking about tariffs doesn't mean we shouldn't.
No, it's important but I'll leave that to other people who can, talk about it in a much more nuanced and smart way, and then I don't have to do it. But yes, it's important. It's
Yeah.
important to keep up with
No,
that.
exactly. It is. I mean, I wrote an article for Apparelist a little bit ago that talks about why we as an industry, print and promo, need to pay attention to these global economic events and scenarios because they absolutely impact our industry.
Mhm.
So it's crucial to pay attention to stuff like this.
Yes, yes. And if you can find a source that is able to break it down in a very
Great.
understandable way and apply it, directly to the industry, I think that is so helpful
Yeah.
because if you're just looking at a general kind of news source, they're going to look at it from like the general consumer perspective, which is important, but we need to have it from that promo and that apparel and printing lens, which is a little
Yeah.
bit different.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so before we get to our guests today, I wanted to have one little discussion. Obviously, January sort of was the kickoff of the trade show season. We had ASI Orlando, we had the PPAI Expo, Impressions Expo in Long Beach. And then, of course, outside of our industry, there were things like CES and other like big trade shows that happened. Now, obviously, the two of us were not at all of these shows, but we did go to several trade shows in January. And I thought it would be fun to sort of take a look at some of the biggest trends that we saw at the show. So I have two trends, and Cassie, I hope you have like a couple of trends to
I
share as
do.
well. Okay.
Yep.
So I'll start with my first one. One of the things that I saw that I think is huge is experiential marketing, live printing, the way promo can be used to, you know, be personalized and create this experience at a show. So there were things, obviously there's you can get your t-shirt printed at a show. That's been going on for a while. I think that's getting a little more sophisticated with like heat transfers, and people can actually pick the placement and which ones they want to use, as opposed to just like, oh, here's a shirt, let's, print it for you. There's a little bit more interaction involved, which I think makes it more meaningful. I also have even seen people using AI tools to kind of up the game a little bit. One supplier that I saw, which I thought was really cool, I think that they're called Swanky. They have a lot of different like live activations, but one of the things that they were doing at the show was you would get your picture taken at the beginning, then they would run it through like an AI filter to turn it into a cartoon that, because it was in Vegas, it was a Vegas themed kind of cartoon, and then they would etch that image onto a little poker chip. And then by the end of the show, you could come back and pick up your poker chip that was, branded to you. So that's such a, personalized experience. Why wouldn't you keep something that has your face on it? It's special. It will remind you of the event. And people in the promo industry, obviously they get giveaways all the time. You think they get a little jaded, but people will stand in line, even in our industry, for stuff like that. Or there were opportunities to kind of create your own scent and make your own like, friendship bracelets. There's so like it's so far beyond just, printing something on a shirt. There's so many different ways to make these experiences personalized, special, interactive, which elevates whatever the promo is that people get at the end.
Yeah, and I see this everywhere at all the shows now, but just in everything, any kind of event. I think back to when I even did FESPA last year. Ink cups had a really cool way where you could customize your own coffee cup and things like that. At Imprinted, at Impressions, excuse me, in Long Beach this year. Jerseys did a really cool activation where they kind of created you as like a superhero kind of character and then printed you a cool little card. And I also even think, Teresa, about like our branding together project that we did. It's not about creating, like you said, a t-shirt that everybody else has. It's about creating this personalized experience. And I think the focus on experience is so important these days. So cool trend. Definitely something we're seeing on the printing side as well. I would have talked about it, but you took it, and that I think was perfect. Like, yes, huge one, right? So I picked something else. My first one is automation. And we're just seeing that being pushed heavily across the printing industry, whether that's automation in the upfront sales process, whether that's automation in the workflow and production process, in the software, in the way your team communicates internally, in the way that you ship things and all that stuff. It's being driven by a need for faster turn times. It's being driven by, these challenges that keep persisting in labor and all those things that sort of hit the printing industry. One of the machines that I saw at Impressions Long Beach this year, the new Epson printer, it's got the DTF rolls. It can print one large roll of transfers, or it can print two. The cool thing about that is it can print lots of different things in a fast amount of time that are custom, going back to what you were saying. And the team at Epson was talking about how you don't really need to sit there and babysit the printer. It will pretty much just press and go. And so that's where we're really seeing a lot of the industry heading right now, is just heavy emphasis on automation, efficiency, using AI, like you said. How are we using AI as a tool, not a replacement, but a tool to be more efficient printers, be more efficient production managers, be more efficient salespeople, all of that stuff. It's all tied together, and you're just seeing tons of that everywhere right now in the industry.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that's totally true. So I have one other trend, and that is mini versions of regular products. And it goes back to ASI's product of the year for last year, which was kind of like personalized accessories, all those little like things that people add to, you know, their like a straw topper, or something that you like clip on your backpack or your purse, like the Labubus, all that ridiculous stuff. So one of the things I saw at the show were so there'd be like a boat tote, like regular size, and next to it, like a tiny little miniature version of it that you could clip onto the boat tote. Or, I think there was like a hydro flask, but it was like tiny, tiny, like little, like, shot glass sized almost, but, the double walled tumbler that, you're used to seeing, but in just like a miniature version. And I think it's fun, it's unexpected, it's cute. That cuteness factor maybe is not the most useful stuff, but people do love the ability to personalize things. And, isn't it fun to be able to like clip that miniature, backpack version onto your regular size backpack? And it's just like a nice, fun trend. I think that I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I definitely, saw many different versions of it on the show floor.
I like it. Hey, maybe in the mini backpack you could put our little rubber duck friends to carry around
Oh,
with us.
yeah.
Let's carry
Love
on the
it.
theme of rubber ducks this year.
Yes, we
But I
don't wanna
do
let
like
that
it.
go.
Um, the second trend that I really want to talk about is actionable sustainability. So
Mm.
I feel like for the last few years, there was a lot of talk about it. There was a lot of discussion. Okay, yes, it's a good thing. A lot of wondering what to do, which direction to go. But what I really saw to kick off 2026 is so much action. We are starting to see lots of legislation get passed, obviously with Europe leading the charge. But now we're starting to see it quite a bit here in the States with a lot of different, you know, EPR laws going into effect, PFAS laws, all of those things. Most of the people I've had discussions with to open up 2026 is people are now willing to pay, right? I think that the consumer is really tired of receiving products that are low quality, fall apart, don't fit, don't look good, don't match what they ordered. They're finally tired enough of all of that to where they're willing to pay the money for a more premium product. And we're seeing that everywhere, especially on the apparel side, since that's where I primarily operate. We are seeing this almost forced level of elevation to where manufacturers now have to offer premium products
Mhm.
because that's what everybody is looking for. And they're now willing to pay for it. And now people are paying attention. What's being added to the garment? What's the recyclability of it? What's the reusability of it? Is it going to last for years and years and years to come? These are the conversations that are actually happening. The end consumer, the end buyer, end user, whatever you want to call them, wants it now. And they are
Yeah,
willing to pay now. So it is
and they're getting more sophisticated. They're starting to
right.
know what questions to ask. I
Exactly.
feel
And
that's a big change.
right. And having those conversations now is really important with your customer. Like
Yeah,
saying, hey, look, yeah, you could buy this for 50 cents less. It's not going to last as long. And the print's not going to look as good, frankly.
yeah,
So why not buy a premium product that's going to last 10 times longer? The print's going to look great. You're going to love the product. It's going to be part of your experience. Right.
yeah.
And so I just love it. It warmed my heart.
Yes, I think that's awesome. I love to hear it, and I love to see that in action, so that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Those are some. I mean, obviously, there's tons more trends that we're not talking about, but I think those are some of the big things that we're seeing already. But now, without further ado, let's transition to talking to our guests, Christy and Brian Floriani of BUKU Branded.
Want to level up your skills or empower your workforce? Meet iLearning Plus, the online education platform powered by our parent organization, Printing United Alliance. With on-demand courses and certifications, iLearning Plus helps print professionals stay ahead of industry trends, sharpen their expertise, and grow their careers. Whether you're elevating your skills or training your team, we've got the resources to keep you competitive. Printing United Alliance members save 20% on all courses and certifications. So get started today at ilearningplus.org and build a stronger future in print.
Well, I'm so excited today that we have Christy and Brian Floriani of BUKU Branded joining us. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So I wanted to start out and just ask you guys a little bit about, why you started BUKU Branded and, how literacy became a cause that you both champion. Christy, could you start?
Sure. Literacy runs deep for me. I've been in social work for over 3 decades and worked with families in low resource and low income communities, and time after time, family after family. I saw the hope. Saw the hope time after time, family after family, and to ask what their goals were. And they really just looked at their children with all the hope in their eyes. And and they would just say, I hope that they get a good education so they don't have to live like I live. Um, it became that simple. And I viewed my job as a social worker as something I wanted to work myself out of. And so over and over, I saw how literacy would impact every other aspect of the family's life. And it really could make the change for those children so that they don't become the parents of the next generation of children living in the same communities and struggling in the same ways.
Wow. That's really powerful. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, and Brian, how did that, like, where does BUKU Branded come in then to this picture, from literacy to promo?
Oh,
Yeah.
yep.
So as you can see by Chrissy's response, she and we take this very personal, and it's a calling for us and as a family. Um, where it started for me was had some loss in my family about 20 years ago, and I was in a completely different business, and really had different vision for my life, and had some loss, and it really made me think about what I wanted my life to represent. And the original thought was to be an elementary school teacher, so I spent a couple years in an under-resourced school because that's where I thought I wanted to be, and saw an opportunity to solve a very solvable problem, and that's the lack of book ownership in um, under-resourced homes in America. Research has proven that it's critical to reading readiness and reading proficiency, yet 61% of low-income households in America have zero books in them. And I thought, well, here's a variable that's very solvable. We can't solve them all: where you're born, who you're born to, educational level of your parents. But book ownership should never be a reason in America why we don't have reading ready children or reading proficient children. So I looked around at some of the models that were out there, and I was looking for models that were effective, efficient, scalable, and sustainable. And a long story short, none of them are all for the four, in my opinion. And so, uh, 16 years ago, I started an organization called Bernie's Book Bank on my credit card in my garage for $5,000. And the objective there was to build a metropolitan based children's book bank model that would serve every under resourced child in that metro area from birth through sixth grade with 8 quality books a year. And that journey has gone very, very well. And excited to say that we have begun expansion. We're serving 315,000 children in Chicagoland, now serving 20,000 in Milwaukee, and with incredible support up there, have launched in the Sun Coast of Florida, which will be North Tampa down to Naples, and looking for our fourth um, market to enter into, building a national team. And our next goal at the book bank, anyway, is to serve 20 million children annually by 2045. And so, how do we get to BUKU? Well, I think we've done a pretty good job, relatively speaking, at raising money at Bernie's Book Bank, but I think it's going to get harder for many reasons to raise money in a traditional philanthropic setting as we move forward, which I won't bore you with on why, but I think that's the case. At the same time, I think the consumer has become a lot more conscious. Where is it made? How is it made? Who does it benefit? And we see proofs of concept in Newman's Own and Bombas Socks and Tom's Shoes. And, at the book bank, we have thousands of visitors there every year to volunteer, and a lot of corporate groups. And you'd see the corporate groups come in with their company swag. And if you start really paying attention, you see branded products everywhere. And it's whether it's school uniforms or whether it's company swag or whatever. And then as you dig in, you realize it's a $27 billion industry. And I thought, well, there needs to be a way to work ourselves up the financial food chain just a little bit, because in philanthropy, you're kind of waiting at the bottom. And so we were looking for an opportunity to tap into already budgeted dollars? And how could we do that in a way that would elevate the promotional product space, but also elevate um, whatever organization we're working for, whether it's a corporation, their corporate social responsibility platform, whether it's a school district, and how to just be more responsible, more community minded. And so we launched BUKU Branded. It's a great business, our business. A lot of great people working in the business. Um, and there's a ton of opportunity. And for the most part, margins are pretty high. And so, if you scale a business in the promotional product space, you really have the opportunity to give a ton back if you've made the commitment that we have. In just a few years, we've already given back $115,000. But our goal is really to write checks with 2 commas in them. And so that's what we're going to do. And just grateful for the opportunity to talk to you all today and tell you a little bit about what we're up to.
Wow. Yeah, those numbers are mind blowing, and kind of talking about that business model that you just described, because right, this is a business model. BUKU Branded is a very interesting one, and to kind of look into that a little bit deeper. Giving back 100% of net profits to investing in this, literary and literacy in America, I think is really unbelievable. But I just have to ask, I mean, Christy, how does the model work? Because as Brian just described, it can be kind of challenging. So can you kind of like walk us through what that looks like and how you choose beneficiaries and all that good stuff?
Christy, you want me to take this, or do you want to?
Yeah,
grab?
take the how we choose beneficiaries.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're looking for are organizations that are biased to action, that want to scale, that have a proven model. I mean, similar to the book bank, I guess, that we've had a positive response to a randomized control trial, and we have an ambition to serve millions of children. I think we're also looking for organizations that operate like a business and think like a brand. Um, Organizations that pay their employees consistent with how passionate they say they are about their mission. I mean, we're looking for winners, and I believe that the solutions for our literacy crisis, which there is 32 million Americans 32 million Americans cannot read, and I think the solutions for our literacy crisis already exist. They just need to fuel to scale. And I guess that's the one other thing we're looking for is we're looking for organizations that are on the prevention side of things, not the intervention side of things. And so getting to children early, because we all know that prevention is a lot more successful than intervention, or a lot more likely to succeed. So sorry, Christy, I'll hand you off of how it works.
All good. No, I mean, we have the advantage of both of us coming from different facets of the field of literacy, and having, 2 perspectives that, run deep. And we choose beneficiaries that are going to resonate also with the people we're talking with. So we're talking about beneficiaries that are national. Every time I mention Little Free Libraries, for example, I get smiles like that. Yeah, yeah. It makes it so easy to give 100% net profits away when as a social worker, I never could have written a check or many checks for $115,000 over many years. So just to be able to, build our model, it's a model. It's successful. It's been proven. That's simple math. It's not an easy lifestyle. It's just simple math. But you're talking to a social worker. My income has never been my first priority. Brian's the same. We run on different fuel. So our model is it's easy, and it's rewarding. It's intrinsically rewarding for the people that we share it with, the people that are our clients, our customers, our partners, and our beneficiaries.
Now, if I could add to that, I mean, I think that what we lead with, the people we're serving at BUKU Branded, first and foremost, we know they want to be served with good quality product on time, and they want elite client service. So when we talk about BUKU Branded, we talk about elite client service to begin with. We talk about competitive pricing. There's no upcharge because of our give back. We want to be competitive, but the exclamation point is the 100% give back. And when we have conversations with folks and they say, well, let me get this straight. You're going to service like anybody else would serve, if not better. You're going to compete from a pricing standpoint, if not match. And then you're going to give all the net profits back to literacy. And we say, yes, that's the whole point of the business. And they say, well, why wouldn't we do that? And our response is, we don't know. Why wouldn't you do that? So, it's kind of a no-brainer. And, we run a business just like any other business. I mean, people get paid and we have expenses, but we built this business for one reason, and that's to provide fuel for the cause of literacy. And so, as Christy alluded to, literacy is our lifestyle, literacy is our jam, and that's in our calling as a family.
That's awesome. So I think we kind of touched on this a little bit already, but I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into why the promotional products industry in particular is such a good vehicle for give back programs and purpose-driven companies like yours.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm preaching to the choir, but sometimes that's fun because you get an amen from time to time. But it's a business you can scale. We're promotional products company for the most part are brokers, and you can scale with limited headcount. And so it wasn't that this is a business I've always dreamed of. I kind of fell into the promotional product space somewhat from my experience with Bernie's Book Bank. But it's been a great business because everybody's buying it. And I never necessarily wanted to sell promotional products, but if people are buying it, I'll sell it for the benefit of literacy. So it's been a great choice for us, and we're really loving it. We're just service minded, and so we love serving people, whether it's giving money to literacy or whether it's serving people and making their dreams or their visions come through for their businesses.
Yeah.
This is also really compatible with our mission. If you think about schools, colleges, campuses, and as Brian mentioned, businesses with their corporate social responsibility, demands from their stakeholders, it's a win-win. So we considered other opportunities like a lifestyle brand or consumer packaged goods, but this gets right at the target market where the money is being spent, the budget is big, and the impact then will be the biggest. So,
Yeah, well said.
Christy, something you said a little bit ago is really kind of resonating right now, and that's or maybe it was you, Brian. Something one of you guys said about you mentioned the free little libraries. And I instantly smiled because there are two of them within like walking distance of my home. And my children love them and they love putting their older books in them once they've outgrown them, all these things. And I think about my reaction to that because it is such a cool thing, right? And so I'm thinking your business model must resonate with end buyers, right? Like I'm sure you guys get really positive reactions, so let's talk about that a little bit. What kind of reactions are you getting from end buyers? What are the markets you serve and what has been their response to what you're doing?
Want me to go, Christy?
Go for it, Brian.
Sorry, I'm the ambitious one here. I'm trying to stay out of Christy's way.
Yeah,
I want to make one distinction, and that is that it's the impact program for the Little Free Libraries. And what that impact program does is put Little Free Libraries in under-resourced communities and make sure that they stay well stocked. I mean, I think the overall reaction is shock and if I hadn't started Bernie's Book Bank and had some credibility and some scale with Bernie's Book Bank, I'm not sure we would be able to have the momentum we've had so far because naturally people would ask, well, why the heck would you start a business and give all the profits away? But if you think about like companies like Patagonia that built a business over time and then decided once they were very successful to give a bunch of it back, all we're doing is just giving the money away as we go. And the beauty of that is that you actually get to see the impact while we're still living. And we love impact, obviously. We love scale. We love seeing things build. Um, but I think that people are shocked by it. And it's shocked so much that it's kind of hard for them to believe.
Mhm.
And so I think you just have to keep that messaging in front of people on how much you've given back, who you're supporting, sharing stories from those organizations on how we're impacting, because it's all a circle, and it is a win-win-win. And where we've seen it be very effective is when companies specifically start to share internally and externally that they work with BUKU Branded, because it's a feather in their cap that they really aren't paying for. I mean, they're already getting what they want from a marketing perspective, but the plus on top of that is the impact in the community, with already budgeted marketing dollars. And so I'd say shock is one.
Hmm.
Um, but they're also, I know in the conversations I have, every time we talk about a new order, a new product, a new project they have coming up, they do it with a smile on their face because they know that they're gonna get what they want, but they're also having an impact.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, when we're cultivating relationships, across industries, networking groups, relationships, in any kind of way. I think no one really says sales anymore. It's relationships, and your why is the biggest thing. And from a competitive perspective, which I am just a teensy bit, like I got everyone beat. Basically, my why is it's deep, and our how is easy to understand, and that's very attractive to people. It's very meaningful, and it means that I'm not selling, I'm sharing an opportunity.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
Well
awesome.
said.
Yeah,
So well said. Wow.
totally. So I think, one of the we've already kind of talked about, like, the idea of being, giving back 100% of the net profits. That's a surprise to people. But what's something else that would surprise people about the company and your mission?
I mean, I think it's our ability to deliver so effectively so soon. We launched this. I wasn't in the promotional product space, and I've been blessed with an incredible network. But when we built it, we put together a team of people with decades of experience, all the vendor relationships, and so um, I think they're shocked that we're able to deliver at such a high level. Relatively soon in the business.
Yeah.
But as Christy alluded to, this is really about relationships. In the philanthropic world, people give to people they trust and like for good causes. In business, people do business with people they like and trust. And if there's an added benefit of a give back, it makes it even more attractive. So I think that's, for me, it's that we've been able to scale and give back $115,000 in just a couple of years.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're smart enough to know what we don't know. So our team, our production team, they're the experts. They're phenomenal. They've been doing it for decades. So we surrounded ourselves with people who really know the industry, and they know the factories. And so we really were able to hit the ground running. So that gave us a huge competitive advantage too.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously enjoying some good success, right?
Yeah.
Kind of early, as you mentioned, Brian. All that being said, now, what are your goals for 2026 and maybe even the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, I think our goal for this year is to increase revenues significantly. And the beauty of talking about revenue like that is anytime we talk about revenue, as that increases, so does our impact. Um, we're really not satisfied with where we are right now. We have 4 beneficiaries. There's lots of worthy literacy initiatives throughout the country. And I don't know if I will personally be um, satisfied until we're writing checks with 2 commas in them. But I would say farther out, uh, we want to have given back over $1 million by 2030, um, and really put the company in a very solid position to grow and scale in a responsible way so that we're around for a very long time. I can tell you personally, my goal is that within 5 to 8 years that we grow this to a point where we get some folks in here to take it over and really blow it out of the water. I think my gifts are in getting fires started and getting them hot and then getting out of the way. And that's what I've tried to do at Bernie's Book Bank. And I think that's what we'll try to do with BUKU Branded. I think I've had a lot of people ask, well, wasn't Bernie's Book Bank enough? Because I still have a very significant role at Bernie's Book Bank. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
But candidly, with the network, again, as I've said, I've been blessed with, um, I almost feel like I'm morally obligated to do BUKU Branded, to try to monetize those relationships in a bigger way. It probably won't surprise you that in general, philanthropic budgets are about this big and marketing budgets are about this big. So, um, so yeah, those are some of I think our company goals, but personally as well.
Yeah. Christy,
Personally,
anything you want to add?
yeah, personally for me, the give back is the main thing. Just some fun personal goals are that the schools, the school districts, the community colleges, the colleges around us are aware of the opportunity to utilize what we can do for them to have that double impact. Um, I love working with trades and manufacturing industries and groups as well. So for me, it's also about who's aware and making sure that everyone's aware of the opportunity to have this function serve more purposes.
Awesome. So, I mean, this has been a really great conversation. I love what you guys are doing. You had some really insightful, smart things to say. But to end things, Cassie and I always like to have kind of a fun question. So I thought I would make it sort of literary themed. Um, the question is, if you guys could spend a week in a fictional world, whether it's a book, a movie, or a TV show, what would it be and why? And you both have to answer. So who wants to start?
Go ahead, Chrissy.
Okay. There's a million directions that I go in terms of this fantasy, but one of my little fantasies is to be able to sit around a writer's table at like 30 Rock or Saturday Night Live and just see all the magic happening from these creatives. So I'd love that. That'd be a fun one.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how I beat that answer. This is gonna sound coy, but one would be to watch my wife do that. Um, because to be honest with you, I wasn't much of a TV watcher when we met, and she's really exposed me to the art form that is writing and producing shows like that. I grew up watching Cheers and what have you, and it was funny, but I really never thought that like somebody had to write that. And how many times did it take um to actually get that right? And so I mean, I guess if I had one, I think it would be a movie or a TV show that would inspire people to think less about being successful
Mhm.
and think more about how to be significant.
Mm.
Because I think, especially in our country, we it's inherent success, 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 success. And success is about our accomplishments. But there's nothing better than significance, which is the success of other people.
Yes.
And I think if it's not obvious by now, I think that's what Christy and I have both been called to do. And it runs deep because both of our families have deep immigrant roots. And for me, my grandfather came on a boat from Italy. My grandmother came on a boat from Poland. And um, They ended up outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which meant my grandfather was a coal miner for 51 years, and my dad didn't have running water till he went to college. And it's been literacy. It's been literacy that has changed my life or in my family, the way we live in one generation. And that's possible for everyone in this country if they're provided the opportunity to be reading ready but before they enter school and being reading proficient by third grade. We don't just need readers. We need people that love to read.
Absolutely.
It's about reading and loving to read.
Yeah.
Wow. You can't top either of those answers. Wow.
Yeah, those
All
are
right.
both awesome.
Show's over. Let's end on that. Wow.
Wait, you guys aren't going to tell us?
Yeah, you got to tell us now.
Oh, we have to. We never participate. We make you guys do the hard work. and
Well,
then
today's
we
different.
listen.
I see how that goes. Okay.
What's your favorite show, Teresa?
Oh, my favorite show. I actually really like. There's a show called Community. Have you ever heard of it? It was I love that show.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
My daughter and I, like, every Christmas we watch the Christmas episodes from that sitcom, and I still like rewatch them. I just think it's very clever,
It is.
snarky, but still has a lot of heart. I
Yeah.
really enjoy it.
Oh my God.
Cassie?
Poor Donald Glover. And
Yeah.
oh, so good.
Yeah.
Cassie, what about you?
I don't really watch a lot of TV unless it's sports. So I'm definitely like a sports all the way. So I'll go to book. I tend to live in fantasy book world and definitely like Lord of the Rings trilogy. If I could live in Hobbit Town, like chef's kiss.
I think you're too tall to be in Hobbit Town, though.
What's that?
Love it.
You're too
Love
tall.
it.
I know I would stand out, but it's still be fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, Brian and Christy, this has been so much fun. I am just like everybody who talks to you guys, shocked and amazed, and really, really just what a powerful thing you guys are doing. I hope that as we continue to check in with you, we watch you write those 2 comma checks. I want that so bad for you guys. So
Thankful. Well, we're grateful.
Yeah.
We're grateful.
Thank you for having us. Truly. And keep us accountable.
Yep.
we'll check in. We'll have our listeners check in.
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Great.
All right. That was such a great conversation with Christy and Brian. But now let's end the episode with some fun, since this episode is all about promoting literacy, and I am an official card-carrying book nerd. I thought it'd be fun to give our, some favorite authors, book characters, kind of a print and promo spin. So we're going to go back and forth quickly, give a character or an author, and then a t-shirt slogan or their favorite promo product. So I will go first. Jane Austen, t-shirt slogan, I judge you quietly.
Yeah, it's fire. I'd wear it. Mine, I'm starting with an author, J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm going with promo product. He will have a Hobbit-size second breakfast snack pack.
Love it. Love it. All right. My next one, Stephen King. And this is a promo product. We're thinking branded desk lamp or flashlight, because if anyone should be afraid of the dark, it's definitely him. I mean, he's made everyone else scared. So he probably needs to have a night light or something to keep the darkness at bay.
Absolutely. My second one is a character, Violet Sorengale from the Empyrean series. I picked a promo product for her as well. It's bracelets that say still not dead, because she just will not die despite best efforts.
I love that. All right. So my next one is actually a poet, Emily Dickinson, and it's another t-shirt slogan. Sorry I missed your party. And then in parentheses, I was avoiding humanity, which I think I would wear that too, actually.
Same. My third selection is an author, Amy Tan. She wrote Valley of Amazement,
Ooh,
among
I love
other
her.
things.
Love her.
I chose t-shirt slogan. The slogan is, this book will emotionally destroy you, in parentheses, lovingly.
I love that. That's amazing. All right. Next one. Got to go with a classic, William Shakespeare. T-shirt slogan again, to brunch or not to brunch. And then you can pair it with a branded wine glass or mimosa glass, or, I guess it's a champagne glass, but, 4 mimosas. Something good and brunch themed. I think you could go with a whole brunch themed package.
Perfect. Yep. Fourth one, I picked a character, Kaya Clark from Where the Crawdads Sing. I picked promotional product for her, pressed wildflower bookmarks.
Oh, I love that. Very nice. All right, so my last one, and I don't want to butcher his name, but Fyodor Dostoevsky. I'm actually listening to the Brothers Karamazov right now. It's very long, and I have it at like 2 times speed, but it's great. It's great. But it's another t-shirt slogan, ask me about my inner turmoil.
I love it. These are also so golden. My final one is also a poet, Robert Frost.
Nice.
I've got the t-shirt slogan. I took the road less traveled and complained about it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. These are all great. I think I would buy all of them.
100% across the board. Well, this was fun. I am also a card-carrying book nerd, so thanks for doing this.
All right, well, that is our show. I can't wait to see everyone next month, and I'm sure we'll have a great guest lined up and fun topics, so join us then.